Thank you.
Hey, what classes are you taking?
Actually, I'm taking concurrent classes.
Oh, what's that?
Here, I'll show you.
Concurrent classes are part of Northwest Arkansas's Community College Early College Experience. ECE allows high school students to receive college credit in the familiar environment of their own high school, receiving college credit during normal high school hours for half the price of a normal college course.
Oh, I think I'm interested. Let's go see my counselor.
Okay, let's go.
Welcome to another wonderful episode of Wildcat Entertainment Television. I am your faithful advisor, Trent Jones, joining you from Springdale Har-Ber High School's Video Productions program. On today's show, we're going to bring you the commercial side of our production and film class. Over the last couple of weeks since we last joined you, we put together 2 competition commercials, and we're going to go through those one by one today with the student directors. So buckle your seatbelts. Here we go for another Wildcat Entertainment Television.
My babies are safe now. My babies.
Mama doesn't make chicken on Sundays anymore! Moron!
Okay, and coming up first is student director Jordan McDowell. And Jordan, let's get the audience kind of oriented to what this show's going to be about. Back at the beginning of the year, we decided to embark on 2 commercial contests. One for the Attorney General Dustin McDaniel, the Youth Suicide Contest, and then we also did Stamp Out Smoking. But first, let's talk about the Youth Suicide Prevention Contest with Attorney General Dustin McDaniel. They asked us to make a commercial talking about the signs and how to prevent it, and your commercial actually won first place. So we'll talk a little bit about that here in a second. But just tell us a little bit about your commercial and what it was like to put it together.
Well, my commercial is called To the Kid Who, and it's one that I worked on with Deandra Labra, who I did the documentary with, and so we work really well together. And actually, I believe that one of the keys to creativity is hiding your resources. That's something I've been taught, and we had gotten the idea of having like multiple people talking, because it's like people finish each other's sentences. It's the way it's cut, and it has to be edited with the flow, like the way that you would have a conversation, but it's multiple people having one conversation, which is kind of weird, but it's kind of trending right now. And we had seen some stuff like that on YouTube, and there's other commercials like that going around, and I thought it conveys a message really well. You get to see a lot of faces, it's powerful, you see lots of emotion, but at the same time, it's simple. It doesn't mess with your brain, you're not confused, it's just words and people. And that's something that I think really gets the message across, especially with something as powerful as suicide. That is a really serious problem in our community today, especially for kids. Something you don't think about. You think of that as like an adult problem. And when you want to get this message across to kids, you have to keep it simple, and that's just really big in any sort of commercial making. You want to keep it simple.
And I felt like through this commercial, when you watch this, exactly what she said, it's faces and it's a message. And well, the reason I think that To the Kid Who won was because it's one unified message, but it comes from every walk of life.
Right.
And I think that was what was really so powerful about this. Before you watch this, this is the first place winner in the state of Arkansas. This is what's so cool. Over 500 entries from 37 schools in the state of Arkansas were put in, and they selected this one from Jordan. So we'll talk a little bit more about it on the other side of this. This is To the Kid Who.
To the kid who.
To the kid who.
To the kid whose parents are divorced.
To the kid who gets bullied.
To the kid who pops pills.
To the kid who.
To the kid.
To the kid who is alone.
I
want you to know.
Suicide is the 3rd leading cause of death for young people ages 15 to 24.
And I don't.
You don't.
We don't have to contribute to that.
You are not alone. You're never alone.
Suicide takes the lives of
Mothers.
Sisters.
Sons.
friends.
And they won't make it to
22.
17.
Their wedding.
15.
To the kid who's watching this video,
I've been there.
I've been where you are.
And I promise,
I promise.
I swear to you, it gets better.
suicide affects more than just the victim.
It affects your school,
His community.
your family.
To the kid who's watching this video,
Don't lose hope.
If you or someone you know is contemplating suicide, remember,
it's okay to ask for help.
So I really felt like that was very moving. When the Attorney General's office called, they said, you know, that they found it hard to realize this was made from a high school class. Talk just a little bit about how you kind of varied your depth of field and how you moved the characters throughout the frame, kind of that the nuance of keeping you visually engaged. What was it like to shoot To the Kid Who?
It was interesting because you think it's so simple. You think we just bring out kids and bring a camera, like, okay, talk.
Right.
It wasn't like that. When we had our script, we had to already know which actor was going to say what and where they were going to be on the screen, because you don't think about it, but if 2 clips in a row are left aligned, it messes with your brain. The viewer doesn't, like, if you saw it, you'd be like, that looks weird, and you wouldn't
like a
really know
jump
why.
cut, yeah.
Exactly. And so you have to mix it up, and there has to be variety in, like, the placement of the people. We also had, like, there's this one with Morgan, the girl talking, where the glass of the rotunda is coming behind her, and it's really pretty, and you're just comfortable looking at it. That was not, we didn't just walk up to the rotunda and be like, okay, stand here. Oh, that looks good. You know, we had to look around, and there are certain places you can't just sit and be like, it looks good. You have to think about how it looks to the camera and to the audience, and think of what the background looks like and what the shapes look like and the color. Color is another huge thing. You can't just, I mean, lights are in certain places, and if you have shadow, you have to avoid that. Especially if you want a really warm message that you want people to, like, understand and be close to, you don't want harsh shadows.
Let's use this opportunity to transition into the next commercial contest, which was the big pitch, Stamp Out Smoking. And I think kind of piggybacking on what you just said about light and setting, this commercial that you did is very uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable. It's called You Promised. And this is taken from a really interesting perspective. Talk a little bit about You Promised and how you put it together and what you were trying to make the audience feel.
You Promised starts out, and I mean the whole thing is like this. It's someone in a hospital room looking around. You can hear the beeping. You can hear him breathing. There's people talking. It starts out with an ambulance even, and it's very edgy. People say it's harsh. And the thing about smoking is that so many people do it. So many people don't understand the consequences. They don't realize that hospitals are this serious. And when you show this clip, I mean, he's disoriented. You're through the eyes of the person that has been smoking. And then at the end, when the doctor comes up and says, "Sir, I'm sorry, we have some bad news for you." It's like, oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's real.
Right.
Yeah, and what's really neat is they do this kind of storytelling technique of like the flashback inside of his head. The narrative is him flashing back to discussions with his wife. So let's go ahead and get ready to roll. You Promised for Stamp Out Smoking. This is Jordan and her team. Who else did you work with that on?
Deandra Labra and Luis Gonzalez.
Okay, so big props to them. This is Jordan and Deandra and Luis, and we hope that you enjoy this. And this is You Promised.
You promised you were going to stop smoking.
I'm trying. You don't know how hard it is.
I don't care. This is your life on the line. You have a family.
I'm sorry. I love you.
You're tired all the time. You're moody. You can hardly breathe. And we can't afford $50 a week on your stupid habit.
Fine. I'll stop.
You promised.
Sir, I have some bad news.
We've been very proud of the progression that Jordan and Deandra and Luis have made. They're all 3 seniors, and they're going to go on and take the world on by storm. And I hope that you guys follow them and support them all along the way. And so let's talk about some up-and-coming talent we have. And I'm now joined by Anna Thompson. And Anna, you really started to, a couple of projects ago, everything really kind of started coming together for you. You started seeing sequences and layered audio, and so some really good things are happening. And this first commercial you did for youth suicide, Important Decisions, I really thought you really experimented with shooting and voiceovers. Talk a little bit about your video, what it was, and how you approached it.
Well, when I got the assignment given to me, I kind of wanted to like get into the mind of a teenager or a young person and really just get the details. So I really wanted to focus on like the face and the thoughts that somebody our age would think about.
And I think that something that people don't, it's easy to hear the voiceovers. What I want people to really focus on, and this is what I want you to talk about, was the production style shooting that you did. The way you'd kind of tilt down and roll it in and out of focus, the way you'd kind of move the camera. Talk about how you approached that and what effect you were trying to give.
Well, I thought that it would be kind of boring, the same shot each one, and I wanted a good transition for it to kind of be smooth to each person. And while the voice, while somebody was saying something, I kind of wanted to focus in, so you kind of like understanding the person's thoughts more than it just, clearly seeing it. So like while the person's going into what they're thinking, the image is focusing in and you understand how this person feels.
Absolutely. And I think you're really going to like this. When you watch this, you'll see that, or at least I hope you notice, what the little things that go into making a good commercial are, thinking through all of these things. Let's take a look at this and we'll talk more about it on the other side. This is Important Decisions.
Every day we are faced with important decisions.
I can't predict what my future will bring.
But I can control the choices I make today.
I hope nothing stops me from reaching my goal.
I just want to make the right choices.
Will you make the right ones?
And that Important Decisions I thought was really an excellent production-styled shooting. You really seemed to capture some momentum from making that commercial, and you really carried it on into the Stamp Out Smoking commercial campaign. Talk a little bit about what your commercial was about.
Okay, so me and my partner Liz found a statistic stating that smoking can cut off 14 years of your life, and so we were thinking about all the things you can miss out on if you lose 14 years of your life, and we were thinking, if you die 14 years younger, then you're not going to be able to grow old with the person that you love. So.
Yeah, and when I saw this, I was really moved. You're going to love the transition in this. But what's really cool is talk about the location where you were and the actors that you had.
All right. Well, the location we were at is at my grandparents' barn. They live on like a 14-acre farm, and so my brother and his friend Chanel, and my brother's Jake, they kind of resemble my grandparents in a way because my grandma's got the blonde hair, blue eyes. Chanel has blonde hair and blue eyes. Jake. So I thought they kind of looked the same, and so I thought maybe like it would transition from the younger couple to the older couple that they would turn into if they didn't smoke.
Yeah, and it's excellent, and they're wearing the same outfit. And I mean, this was when I watched it. We talked about it beforehand, but when I saw it afterwards, I thought this was very well put together. So this is Anna Thompson and her partner Liz Larson. They're both juniors, so you'll get a whole nother year with them. Let's see if you like this. This is Future References.
Smoking can cause death prematurely up to 14 use. There are a lot of things that you could miss in 14 years.
I think that that Future References video was an excellent impact on family, and it kind of helped us see some things in life that you could potentially lose. The next commercial we're going to do is going to transition into something that's a lot heavier. Ashley Duckworth joins us now, and we're going to talk about your youth suicide commercial. And I was literally almost moved to tears when I watched this video. First, just kind of tell the audience what this video is and what it's about.
Well, it's basically a permanent decision. Suicide is a permanent decision, and it's someone's life and how they feel about what someone they loved went through and what they went through when they made the permanent decision to commit suicide.
Absolutely, and I think, in my opinion, the word permanent is the one single aspect that people don't really realize about youth suicide. That is, if you do this, you can't ever change it. And so this was very powerful. Let's talk about how you guys shot it. You had a couple. Who was the couple, first of all?
Will Tinney and Kayla Harmon.
Okay, and I think they did a powerful job. Do two things for me. Talk about the cutaway B-roll and how you shot the video of them as a couple, and then tell the audience about your special shot where you went around his back.
Well, as a couple, we kind of just went to Kayla's house because she has a field in her backyard and a farm and everything. So we're like, okay, well, just go run around and have fun and we'll film you. And they're like, okay. So they go sit on the dock and they go walk in the field, go pet some horses, which didn't make it, but it would have been awesome.
Yeah.
And
it was very touching. It really gave this kind of this innocence of watching them just kind of being out in nature. Now talk about the shot where you went around behind his back and she disappeared. How did you do that and why did you do that?
Well, we thought of a couple different things. We thought, well, we could go from this side of him and just go across and have her be there and then do it again the same way. But then I thought, well, if I'm doing the walking shot, it's not going to be the same and it won't look good. So we just decided to go that way and have her literally duck and run as we did the shot. So if you look in the very back corner, you can see her shadow run across some of the graveyard.
That's great. The secrets of television. This is very powerful. This is called Permanent Decisions.
Hey, I just started remembering all those times we had together. I just kept thinking about all those times, and I just really miss you.
Your problems are only temporary, but some decisions are permanent.
So I hope that Permanent Decisions had the impact on you that it did on us. There was an aspect of innocence lost there, and it absolutely showed the case that these decisions are permanent. So let's talk about the second commercial that you guys worked on, which was the Stamp Out Smoking commercial. And this is really cool. There's a lot of tricks that she used in here. First, just tell us what the whole point of the Stamp Out Smoking commercial was.
Well, the whole point was to have just a bunch of people come together and list a bunch of different ingredients and chemicals that are in cigarettes that are very healthy for you and kind of persuade you not to smoke.
And I think to me what was really cool when I watched this was the layered audio. It sounded like you had 1 million people talking at once. Just tell us the secrets of how you did that.
Well, we got this huge list of chemicals and we just handed them each to each person, and we had about, I want to say 7 people. And they all just read every ingredient on there, and we took the best ones from each person and we just stuck them on there. We had a triangle of audio sitting there, and it just sounded crazy when it was listened to. Yeah,
and this is very powerful. I really think you're going to enjoy this. Ashley and her partner Sarah are juniors, so the future looks bright for us. Take a look at this. This is Stamp Out Smoking Risks.
You wouldn't drink formaldehyde.
You wouldn't pressure your friends into eating arsenic.
You wouldn't eat cyanide.
Cigarette smoke contains over 4,000 chemicals, including 43 known cancer-causing compounds and 400 other toxins.
Butane, carbon dioxide, lead,
isocyanate,
benzaldehyde,
cadmium, ammonia, maltitol. With all the risks that come in life. Why take any more?
And as you can see, I'm really proud of the students and the way that they are able to start seeing things in layers. Ashley has made tremendous progress, and her partner Sarah this year, in being able to piece together the video and the audio. And speaking of piecing together video and audio, we're joined by a familiar face, Robert Crisp. Robert, let's talk a little bit about your commercial, Silent Epidemic for Youth Suicide Prevention commercial contest. Tell us what you did for Silent Epidemic. What was the point of your commercial?
Pretty much the point was to show, kind of through visual, kind of show what kids could be feeling that are depressed, kind of like they're just one in a crowd and they're really nobody, but really they are somebody.
Right, it could be anybody. I think what was really neat about this, help the audience understand how you had your main character stand here and then everybody around him was all moving. That's kind of the visual representation that one in a crowd, but you're actually somebody important. Tell us how you visually shot that.
Pretty much, we just had our main character, Katie, and we just kind of told her to stand in the middle of a hallway, and I set up my tripod in front of her, and pretty much we went and waited for a passing period and just kind of watched kids pass us by.
Right. And so when you're talking to the audience about how you put these things together, you've made lots of videos so far. Just tell the audience, how do you approach this? I give you a packet and I'm like, here, do a commercial on youth suicide prevention. It's for this contest. How do you then approach that to put together the commercial?
Pretty much, I just think of, it'd be cool to do this. And just a cool shot that I want, and I just kind of build a story around it.
That's cool. I think you're going to like this. This is Silent Epidemic, and we'll talk more about it on the other side of this. Check this out.
A silent epidemic of youth suicide is ravaging our nation and stealing the futures of our children. More teenagers have died of suicide than of cancer, heart disease, AIDS, birth defects, stroke, pneumonia, and chronic lung disease combined. 100 plus youth suicides occur each week in our nation alone. Youth suicide is serious and we cannot cure it alone.
So good job on that, Robert. Let's talk about something before we end the show. The National Film Festival for Talented Youth in Seattle, Washington. Over 700 films from around the world were entered. They selected only 200 of them, and 2 of them came from right here. So talk about what that was like to find out that 2 of your films that you worked on is going to air in an international film festival.
It was pretty awesome. Like, I was only expecting just hopefully 1 was going to be selected, but they chose 2 of mine, which I thought that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that's great. And let's give a little love to your guys that work with you, all former Wildcats, Jackson Duran, Will Height, Derek Nichols. Talk about what it's like to work with them and to have a team like that and to be a part of something this special.
It's real great to have like people that are really like interested in film, almost more interested in film than I am. Right. And like they're all really eager to make these films, and like pretty much I wouldn't be able to do any of the films that I do now without them. Yeah, team is so important. With all the things that could go wrong in making films and movies, it's shocking that one ever gets finished. You guys have your own YouTube. Let's promote that. What is your YouTube channel? Nightman Films. All one word. Nightman Films. Yeah, so go to the YouTube channel, check out Nightman Films and subscribe to it. You can also look at our stuff, Harberwildcattv, and subscribe to it. Robert is a junior as well, so we have more good stuff coming from him. For Robert and everybody here at Springdale Har-Ber Video Productions, we are humbled to bring you entertainment every week and every month and every day on our TV channels and on our social media sites. So thank you very much. Make sure to subscribe us, follow us on Twitter, and just generally support us because we love entertaining you. We'll talk to you again soon. Take care.
Mama doesn't make chicken on Sunday anymore.
Happy Thanksgiving, you filthy animal.
Morgan! Oh my God.